Hey guys,
Hello.
we're back. Week 8, Whitney Houston night.
I'm always glad you know what week it is because I get confused. So,
So I do a cheat. Like I used to take notes, like religious notes. And now what I do is if you go to like you can't see it, uh
that's okay.
Wikipedia
Uh-huh.
and you type in Dancing with the Stars season 32, they have each week score. So like it has the couples with their scores, what song they did, the style they danced to, and what week it's in, and who was eliminated, and like all of
Ew,
it.
so brilliant.
Like that way I don't have to write it down and I just have something to refer to. And then I look back at our text messages and have our notes.
What? We don't text the whole show. We really do though.
It's like, oh, we so do at this point.
Literally, like we just started this finally saying we've finally got a pro number back. Yes,
Yes.
it was so fabulous.
Um, I felt so bad though. Like I don't understand. Like I don't know if it was with editing or something. Something was weird with the sound. They filmed the pro number beforehand, so the pro number was not live.
Ah, okay. I didn't know that.
So because they have to change costumes and get ready.
That's fair.
So they film it like an hour earlier. They get
Okay.
all changed and then come back. So I don't know if that was with Billy's like editing. I like it didn't seem right because I knew it wasn't live.
I don't
So,
think so because Billy's face was weird through like the parts where it was cutting out.
but
Like
I
you
don't
could tell him,
understand like if that happened, why they wouldn't have just re-recorded it. So
yeah,
that's
well,
why
that's why I
I
thought it
think
was live.
no, I know it wasn't.
Yeah.
So I really think there was something to do with editing and it was just weird because even the music didn't fit something exactly right. So it was just a whole weird transition thing.
Yeah, yeah. But you have to imagine a lot of times, especially when they're doing these big numbers, there's not usually somebody singing on the floor, right? I
Right.
mean, obviously the people, the band, they sing in the back, but not on the floor. So I wonder if it was like the movement because he was moving so much through that floor that I wonder if it was like the wireless connection to the speaker system.
Maybe the only other thing though that I because I felt it was weird when they did like all of a sudden like all the boys danced, all the girls danced. It didn't fit with the music all of a sudden. So that's why I really think there was like an editing for like faux pas. Um and because they only literally had an hour to edit it and put it together.
Did they put it on? Did they put it on the Dancing with the Stars on the Facebook page? I wonder if it's still
Mm,
messed up on the
I
Facebook
don't
page.
I don't know. I haven't looked at
All right, we can continue talking. I'm gonna look because I'm curious now.
it. But I was so happy. But can I also just say, I truly think that Billy Porter was one of the best guest judges that Dancing with the Stars has truly had.
I totally agree.
I love where he even talked. He's like, I'm going to look for intent. I'm going to look for storytelling. Like he knew what he was doing, but he also had like technical critiques to give. So,
Yes, which is helpful, right? I mean, you imagine like you want that feedback. You want to be able to get better. That's why they're there. So
mhm.
you want to be able to actually get feedback. And yeah, I thought it was
So
awesome.
those of you like I know a lot of people like Billy from like acting or like some of his music. He's a classical trained dancer. He knows his stuff from Broadway. Um so to have him as a judge, and it was funny, I texted Alicia. I said hashtag Billy take over for Bruno when he retires because
Love
I
it.
thought he was like perfect in that position and I truly enjoyed him.
I did too. And like okay, some of the things I know some people online were like going back and forth with some of the things that he said because he's very blunt in
He
like a
was
funny way. So
he said everything that we were truly
I
thinking.
was gonna say, but he's not
Let's be
wrong. I
honest,
was just gonna say.
the comment that everyone's going after is what he said to probably Harry um about a tree trunk uh in his
That was
dance.
that was that was yeah.
But a lot of us are thinking it in the styles of dance, not mean. And I think it might have come off in a mean way, but where that comment was coming from is don't have Harry stand in one place. He
Right.
needs to move. So there's probably a better way of saying it, but he was trying to be nice in a comical way, and it probably just didn't
In a
come out the right
in
way.
the comical way is the key here, right?
Right.
Where he's realizing that, he's there for the first time, like he's just getting to really know them and meet them. So he's trying to be comical with it. And yeah,
And
but he
sometimes
will
when
take
you
it off.
don't have that relationship with them, they don't
It's totally different.
like where does that come from? Like, you know what I mean? So it might have been taken in a wrong way. So, but that doesn't surprise me that that's the comment
So
that
I'm rewatching this opening number and it does look like it was an editing thing. Hold on, I'm just getting past where they were separated, the guys and the girls, which looked good.
because it was before that.
Let me see. Yeah, it was all looking good so far.
Yeah. So my guess is it was an edit mistake.
I think so. Because I know that you had asked if I was seeing it
Mm-hmm.
on because you were watching it live or you were watching it on ABC and I was watching it on Disney Plus.
I normally watch Disney Plus, but um I already had it on ABC and I just didn't feel like changing the channel.
Yeah, it does look like it is fixed on the opening number on here.
I'm intrigued if like I go back on Disney
Some of
Plus
the
if they fixed it.
Yeah, I definitely you can take a look too, but if from my angle, it looks like it's good now. So I wonder if they fixed it on Disney Plus. Maybe
Editing.
they did. Okay, well, anyway, we want to talk about editing flukes because, well, you're right. They had a very short period of time to do it, and that's not really easy. So let's jump right
Stats.
in and let's go right over, start right off with Harry and Riley with a Viennese waltz.
I said I really think a lot of Harry's problem is truly his confidence. He's scared and he's scared to put himself out there. I and I texted you, I go, he really did show a lot of improvement from last week. I think that team dance helped him
Yes.
build a little bit more confidence of, oh, like I actually do step out of my comfort zone. There's some positive to this.
Yeah, like his upper body was held better. His feet were better than they have been. There was a little bit more content, right? We're getting a tiny bit more of that week after week. And some parts were really smooth
Mhm.
and were really what they needed to be. So,
It-
I think that the other thing that's hard with them is their height difference is still playing against them a little bit, especially with this waltz. I really felt that because I felt like he was really sinking, so he was really trying to get to her level, which is so not what you should be doing for a waltz.
and
Um,
there was not enough heel leads in that
yeah.
dance.
But I
Um,
mean, hey,
yeah.
we're getting a little bit more every week, and if he's gonna keep sticking around,
At
let's see a little
least
more
I
every week.
here's my like benefit to the doubt, like or benefit of doubt component line, whatever I'm trying to say, but at least he's improving
Yes.
each week. There's a little bit of improvement because like if he was just standing like still where he was at, I'd be like livid. So I can at least live with it right now. Do I think he is not the best dancer? No.
No, but we already know that,
And do I
but is
think,
he improving? Yes,
yes,
and that's what we need to be seeing.
do I
So,
still feel he should be the one going home because he is not at the same quality of the dance compared to anybody else in the competition?
right, or even just
Yes.
the same level of improvement for
Yes.
our other
Like if you
contestants. So,
compare him to Allison's
oh my, we'll
improvement
get there.
has
Wow.
been phenomenal. So like, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. All right, moving on. So they got a 28. Moving on to Jason and Daniela, who had a samba, which might I just say, and might I agree with, is one of the hardest dances. Wow.
Yeah. Um, One thing though in the choreography I adored and I texted it to you. Finally, somebody used the stairs with intention.
with so much intention. Like, why is this? Like, I texted you and I was like, "Is this the first time we've seen people go down the stairs backwards?" And I know you said Derek did it once. Um, but like, brilliant,
Yeah.
perfect, so cool to actually see us utilizing the stairs
People usually just use the stairs to run up or run down. Like, I like that
or
there was
jump.
a purpose to that movement. So
Yeah, so that was super cool. I really, really, really liked that. I did love all the different content. He tried so hard. There were mess ups in there, but he was trying to have fun with it. And I know that Billy was saying that the singing along was distracting. I do agree, a little bit distracting, and I do think that he was trying so hard to like sing and dance at the same time that it was adding to the mess up.
I think
But
it
at the same
depends,
time,
like,
he's a singer. Like,
yeah, I think it also depends in like the count, because I think actually singing sometimes can help you show the emotion of the song and
absolutely.
act it out. I think it depends because the samba though is a very syncopated dance, so my guess is the rhythms probably didn't always align up in this.
Right.
Where in
Right.
other dances like a jazz dance or something, it may work very, very well.
Right.
So to me, when they kind of lip sync this song, like it doesn't, I don't know, that doesn't phase me, but it's
Yeah, it
also
doesn't
probably because
necessarily
you and I
bother me either. I
come
just
from a
think you're
musical
adding to the
theater
mess up.
background.
Right. Right. Yeah. But I just really think, like you said, I think it's a rhythmic thing. And I really think that in this particular scenario did not help him in any way, shape, or form. So, I mean, I still love Jason. I give him a lot of props for taking on a samba and really trying so, so hard
I was
to
really
do it.
surprised in the leaderboard. He was like second lowest on the leaderboard, but I think part of that was just because of the dance off, where we'll
Right.
get to, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. So, yeah.
Yes. All right. Moving on to Allison and Sasha, who had a contemporary.
Um, this was beautiful. And again, I love it when I see movement and like the choreography that is something that I don't normally see.
Mm-hmm.
And Sasha did this beautiful, he went into a plank and Ellison went into a handstand, like on him.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of strength and like core muscles that she
And
had to use,
held it. And
mhm,
held it.
that she had to use throughout this number. And it was funny, you and I were texting, we are like, she's gotta point her feet though more. And then Billy goes, point the biscuits.
Point the biscuits. Yes. Gotta point those toes. But this is truly one of those. If you're gonna watch a dance this season, it was Charity and Artem's a few weeks ago, and now it is this one. It was
It was
absolutely
beautiful.
beautiful. Like, I can't even talk about the transformation. It's unbelievable from week 1 to week 8. She's done so well and has improved so much and is trying so hard. And so, man, Allison, just keep going. Wow.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was great. Sochi and Vale.
We had a
Yeah,
tango.
tango.
Our first what?
Perfect score.
Our first perfect score for a couple, right? Obviously, Gangnam Style got one last week, but our first perfect score for a couple,
It was perfection.
truly.
Like,
Wow.
her frame was stunning. So like we've talked about a little bit before, like I think Vale has one of the best like technical
Yes.
teaching styles, and in like especially in more of the Latin. I don't, is tango technically ballroom or Latin? That I don't know. I feel like it's more Latin. To me, I have to look that up. I don't know the answer to that, and it's really sad because I even took a year of ballroom and I
I
don't
got it.
remember that.
You mentioned what you were thinking. I'm gonna look it up.
But her frame, her posture, the intensity of every move that they had was so crisp and so clean. Um, so I was truly impressed with it. I also really liked what they did with the song, because the
Yes.
song, like they played it with like different like musicality to it, and they changed how the song sounded, and it just was so cool and how they
Can
put
we
that
just take a second to
together.
comment on these singers this week and
Oh
how
my
amazing,
goodness.
amazing they were? Wow.
I just watched on on TikTok. Travis Garland is one of the singers. Like I follow him on TikTok, and like
Hmm.
he did like behind the scenes of Whitney Houston night, and like it was really fun, like just to see, and oh, so good.
So to answer your question, I don't know how true this is, but this is a post from 2019. It said originally the tango was considered a Latin dance, but since there were so many Latin and so few standard dances, it was moved over to ballroom to help even it out.
Okay, so it's a little bit of both. That's where
A
I'm
little bit
going
of
with
both.
it.
That was in 2019. This is the first thing that came up on Google. So,
Gotcha.
other things will say Latin, some things say ballroom. It looks like it's kind of a, what is it, like a conundrum at this point?
I think like there's components of both. That's why I was like, oh, I don't really know which
Yeah.
one this falls under.
So there you go.
So
Guess
yeah.
it could be either.
Um, next one, I can talk. Barry and Peta.
The rumba. Rumbas are supposed to just have so much hip movement, and there was zero.
Figure
Zip.
figure
No.
eight. So your hips, like I'm doing it with my shoulders because I can't, like I'm sitting. So like it moves in a figure eight. Like here's a loop and then here's a loop. I texted you, I go, I didn't really see the figure eights. I saw like a little hip like back and
There
forth.
was a little bit. There was like a
Like,
rock.
yeah. I didn't really see
Oh man.
like movement of the figure eight with it.
Definitely not. Which then I felt like we were 100%, no matter what, going to be seeing Barry going home because the judges were saying that they were seeing hip movement. And I was like, what? You watched the same thing we just did? What,
No,
did you watch a rehearsal and we watched the live thing? I don't know what you're talking about. That was nothing.
it was really interesting because my dad texted me, and my dad was like, I feel like with the choreography, if you could just let Barry perform and not focus on the technical aspect, I think people may have fallen a little bit more in love with him,
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
as he danced, and I go, "Well, I think that's hard because he's with Peta, who's also one of, like, the most technical dancers." I go, "I think it depends on who your choreographer is," and it's not bad because Peta was teaching him correctly, but if you
Right.
sometimes want the show component, not the dance, then it's, you know what I mean?
Yep.
S so, yeah, but because like as soon the part where we did see his performance was in the dance offs, and we'll like talk about that because like
Yes.
I think having the performance piece after talking to my dad a little bit, he had a point to
Yes.
that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because he has a lot of pizzazz to him. He has a
Yeah.
lot of stage presence. He has, a lot going for him. And you're right. I don't really know if we got to see a lot of that showcase
Yeah, I would agree.
throughout the season. So, all
Um,
right. Next, we had Charity and Artem, who also had a Viennese waltz.
yeah. Um, and I know she was bummed last week, and I think she was still a little bummed this week. Because of like I know they talked about energy and like intensity, but like when I text you, I was like, energy is a lot of times it's about intent and breath control
Hmm.
because where you're placing that breath and that movement, it's that transition of where do I have to be, and that also drives your transitions into the connection. And Viennese waltz is also a very hard dance, I think, for someone who came from a cheerleading background because cheerleading is very isolated. It's a very strong movement where it's strong, hit the pose. Where Viennese waltz is a very fluid dance. And also, like when she did her turns, the spotting, you even commented, it's a very different feel from cheerleading into the dance world. And so from that to this dance, it did not fit her the best style, I don't think.
Yeah, yeah. I still, there was still a lot of that rigid going on instead of linking every move together.
Hmm.
Um, the spotting, I think, is also what's throwing a lot of it off. Um, and isn't really helping, but it was beautiful. I'm not gonna sit here and say that it was not beautiful because it was. And also Trinice, I think is her name, the singer. Whoa.
Did it
I
take your
just
breath away, Alicia?
made my jaw drop all the way to the floor. It like so so good. I was like I was kind of hoping that they were gonna like change the key, and then they didn't, and I went, oh boy, this is either gonna be really good or this is gonna be really bad. It's really good, and I'm so glad. Because from a singing perspective, tough song, but beautiful. Watch it for the singing because it was so good.
See, it's very fascinating, guys, because like I am not a singer. 100% not. So like I hear the music, I'm like, oh, it sounds good. It's great. I don't listen to that where Alicia does. But um what I was watching, I liked watching the judges at times and like the down
Yes.
times of the dances because I don't like we were talking about it like Bruno's like standing up and he's like, oh, where Derek's like sometimes he uses his hands and like Carrie Ann's usually pretty still and just like
Yeah, yeah.
watching.
She really observes and takes it all in, and
Yeah.
but I mean, Bruno and Derek are just more embodied. They are just more movement and standing up and all of that. And Carrie Ann is always more reserved in some ways.
So it was just interesting. Like, I don't know, like I haven't truly like noticed the judges so much until like this past week. And I texted Alicia, I was like, I'm enjoying watching the judges at times.
I think it's the camera angles. I feel like they're trying to show them maybe a little bit more because I totally agree. Like, not that I haven't noticed their faces in the past,
Yeah.
but not as much as this week.
Yeah.
Definitely some different camera angles going on.
And then our final couple for like their dance until we get to the dance offs was Ariana and Pasha with a Paso Doble.
Yes. I think I would have liked a little more of like a solid, hard hitting on like the paso like parts. So those parts that were really like, huh, huh. Like I wish there was a little bit more tightness to it. But I mean, I thought it was great. So I'm not gonna, say that I didn't like it because I really did like it. I just wish there was a little bit more
Yeah.
hit to it.
Um and like when we talked about it, like you wrote the contractions
Mhm.
on that because
Yeah, because
going
a
back.
lot of the things that they were doing were contracting inward.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of like, the angle was here, and then it was a lot of this going on,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it it seemed a little odd. I don't remember which judge had commented on it, like being weird, but I it was
It was
choreographed
Carrie
that
Ann
way.
because Carrie Ann, all the other judges gave him a 10, and
That was the
Carrie Ann
nine.
gave him a
Okay.
9
So
because
I
you
think
said
that
like
she felt like that was like unintentional, where I think it was intentional. I think it was choreographed that way because there was so much of it throughout.
yeah.
But I do think that that was a little strange,
Because
but
you even texted me, you're like, that was a little awkward even before we got to the judging.
yeah,
And then like, and I was like, yeah, but I also can see Derek's take because like, yeah, it was choreographed a little weird in that, and like that was more the movement style, but the technique was perfect for a ballroom.
yes,
So that's why
yes,
I can see why Carrie Ann gave the 9 and Derek gave the 10.
yes. I can
Because
totally
that's
agree with that.
what they're looking at. That's what I was looking back at our notes for it.
Mhm. Yeah. So I thought it was well done. So then, of course, because they were the top of our leaderboard last week, did not have to participate in our dance offs.
Yeah.
So for our dance offs, we'll start at the top of it. We had a rumba with Harry and Riley versus Allison and Sasha.
And I even texted you right off the bat. I go, this is not fair.
I know, but it was hard because who else are you going to put Harry against? You're going to put him against the bottom of the leaderboard that's with him, which in most cases has been Allison.
See, I think it should have been Harry and Barry.
Yeah,
And then
probably.
done Allison and Jason. Like I would have
Just because
switched
of
that.
Allison's continued improvement, I think she could have held her own against Jason.
I agree.
So
Because I think if you did Barry and Harry, it would have been more on performance based versus where when we get to Barry and Jason, what happens was Barry played the performance piece and
Jason played the technique.
technique, and like it's how do you judge that against each other? It's
Right.
very hard.
Right.
So if you were looking for technique, Jason would have won. If you looked for performance, Barry would have won. And
Right.
so
Absolutely. Oranges and apples. I mean,
right. So like you got to Allison and Harry, it was hands down that was going to be Allison because
hmm
Harry doesn't even always have the performance because again he
and
gets
then you're
nervous.
throwing him into a Roomba. It's not.
Exactly. So
There's
like
gonna be no hip action going on.
there it wasn't even like I texted you, I was like, is this even like a choice? Like it's
There's a
obvious
lot of WD
Allison.
40 in there.
I know. So and then this is the comment where Billy said, Harry, you can't be a tree trunk. And I felt bad because part of that too was also more on the choreography of how he was moving. But this is also, I think this was his first rumba.
Yes,
So, and having to learn two dances where he is,
is a lot.
yeah, like in the center of it, it wasn't like a group dance this time. So,
Right.
again, he feels that pressure.
Yeah. So then we had a salsa with Jason and Daniela versus Barry and Peta. And you're exactly right. Barry and Peta, they truly played to the audience and ripped his shirt off and like just had so much fun with it. And for a salsa
Technically,
was perfect.
technically it wasn't the best. And I think
No.
if you looked at it from a technical aspect, and if they were in a true like ballroom judging, Jason and Daniela would have won hands down.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
because they were having fun and they performed it up, again, it's a TV show, so what's going to get more ratings? Well, Barry got it, but we also knew too that Barry was kind of going home because
I already knew that. They were too nice
they were too
earlier in the
nice
show.
and they were going to let him go out on a high win, which is
Exactly.
always nice. Um so Barry won. And I think that's also kind of what affected Jason being more in the bottom of the leaderboard
Yes.
this week.
Yep. And so then we ended the night with a cha-cha with Sochi and Val versus Charity and Artem. And this really
And
could have been anybody's game.
this was tough because I even like texted you and I was like, it could go either way right now because
Yep.
they were both technical, they were both entertaining. Um, they chose Charity and Artem, but like honestly, I could have,
It really could have gone
yeah,
either way. Really, really, really.
yeah.
Tomato, tomato in that case.
And then obviously, I know we already talked about it. Then Barry went home. So
Yes. But like you said, the two that we were banking on going home was Harry or Barry.
right
And
now, I don't know if I can bank on Harry going home because
I can't bank on
America,
I don't I told you from this point it's anybody's game.
America, please explain to me what is the fascination with Harry?
He's
Like,
cute. That's about it.
I don't get it. I don't get it. He, at least I will say, he's a very nice person. So, like, he's
Yes.
not
Yes.
like a mean, rude
He
person.
seems very down to earth,
Yeah.
and I think that that's part of what's going on is he's just so nervous. He's so nervous about the way that people are going to respond to him. But at this point, you've been in this 8 weeks now. You need to just forget all that and get past all of that and just be like, you know what? I'm still here. I don't know how I'm still here, but I'm still here. So I'm gonna just have fun now, right? Because at this point,
There are two people in the past. I've already talked about Bobby Bones that kind of reminds me of Harry. The other one that reminds me of Harry is Grocery Store Joe from The Bachelor
yes.
because he made it pretty far too with Jenna and like but he was always the sweetest funniest guy. Like I got to meet him on tour and he was so down to earth as well, but dancing was not his strong
No,
suit. But he was I
I
think
don't
he
know.
was also was he in the same season of Bobby Bones? He might have been. It might have been Joe, Bobby
Mm,
Bones, Milo, and then the one who played Luna from Harry Potter with Keo.
yes.
I think it was the four of them in like the
Was
final
it
four.
really the four of them?
Yeah. That's why I was like that season was just so weird. I don't know if he made it to the top four. Like he made it though pretty far, like the top five, top four.
He was on the 27th season
Uh-huh. I know he was on
and
the
he
season.
placed fifth.
Okay, fifth. Okay, so there was somebody else there in the fourth position. I can't remember who it was, but
It was season 27.
that was the season where like we had amazing dancers and we had really rough dancers in the like I know
Yes,
because you Milo to me Milo should have won that season.
absolutely.
And it was cool because we got
Hands
to
down.
meet Milo, but I also got to meet Joe because Milo went to Turning Stone and Joe came to Rochester for the tour. So I got to see him in both.
You are right. It is the same season.
Yeah. So like that was I feel like it's turning into that season. So yeah.
Yeah. Alexis and Alan
Okay.
was in fourth. Alexis Run. Yep. So
Gotcha.
that was our fourth. Okay, I got it. Yeah, I told you this is from here on, we will be sitting here shocked, I have a feeling, because it is anyone's game now.
But next week it's gonna be Taylor Swift. I'm not a big Swiftie, so I'm like,
I'm
like I
not a
like some of her
Swiftie, but I
songs.
love me some Taylor Swift music. So
I like some of her songs, but the one I'm like most excited about is Mandy Moore as the judge, like guest
yeah,
judge. She like guys, if you watch Dancing with the Stars Junior, she was the head judge for that show. Um, and she's done so much in the dancing world. She's worked on Dancing with the Stars and did like all their production numbers for the longest time. And like she's so good. So like if there's anybody
fabulous.
qualified, it is her.
Yes, and what a good night because this is going to be a powerhouse show. It's going to also be a lot of people watching it because Swifties are crazy. Um, and I
I
definitely think a lot of people are going to be watching it.
I adore that Allison, like I saw like Sasha posted, Allison brought friendship bracelets and was passing them out to like the cast and the crew at the rehearsals. I was like, that's amazing. Like I just thought it was the sweetest thing.
So funny. She's so funny. So yeah, so this is gonna definitely be a fun night. I'm excited.
Yes. So we will leave you on that note, guys. And we hope you have a wonderful week and we will see you again next week.
Yeah. See you soon.